Jessica, and today I have a decluttering tip video, and this is meant to inspire you guys to declutter like crazy this year. I have started doing it and I have never felt better, and I don't just mean decluttering my makeup collection, which I've done some vlogs on recently, but decluttering my closet. I had so many clothes that I never wore. And I need to declutter all of my books. I have books that I've read that I'm probably never gonna read again. And if I ever wanted to read it again, I can just get it from the library. You know, things that unless they have sentimental value to me, if I'm not using them, pass them on because someone else can use them and love them. So I have a list of a ton of tips that I typed out because I filmed this before and I was just all over the place because there's just so much that goes into getting you into that declutter mindset that I felt like I should organize it a little better. So tip number one, get rid of your what if products. And by that I mean, if you're keeping a product or a clothing item or a kitchen utensil, whatever it is, because you're in the mindset, well, what if I need this in the future? Or what if I want to use this for a Halloween costume? Or what if I need this black lipstick for a Halloween costume? Whatever it is, if they're what if products, get rid of them. Odds are you'll never ever end up needing it. Even if you need it once, it's taking up space. That's something that, you know, you can get for $1.99 if you need it for Halloween from Wet n Wild, or, you know, you can go to Goodwill and get that Halloween costume piece for really cheap when you need it. Keeping things just in case, usually you just don't ever need it. Plus, things eventually go bad, so if you're just keeping it, it's just taking up space and then eventually you have to throw it out anyway. Tip number two, don't buy backups. Now, sometimes there are products that you fall in love with and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a sale, I'm gonna go buy 3 of them because it's a really good sale. And then by the second time, the second bottle of it, you're tired of it. That's what's happened to me. I get tired of it and then I'm like, I have all these backups of this and I'm never gonna use it. Why did I buy so many of these? And then I end up getting rid of them anyway because I don't want them. Things go bad. If you buy a ton of one item and then eventually they go bad, but you buy them because they're on sale or they're on clearance, they went bad, you didn't get to use them anyway. You wasted your money, you wasted space. I mean, there's just so many things. So I have tried to not buy backups unless it's a situation where I know that I've used this product for years and I love it and I won't get tired of it and it's worth it. You know what I mean? So just be smart about that. Tip number 3, if you have more than one of something you need, just get rid of all of them but your favorite. For example, I had 5 iPad cases. 5. I can only use one at a time, and usually once I've used one and I switch to another, I don't really want to go back to the other one. I'm kind of tired of it. And most of the time I got them really cheap online, or they were sent to me, or they were $5 on clearance, whatever it was, but I had 5, and at the time I wasn't using any of them. So I went through, picked out my favorite, and got rid of the rest. And it was the easiest. I feel good. I'm like, it was taking up this much space in this chest I have right over here for no reason. I was never going to use them again, and we're having a garage sale soon, so I'm going to sell them there, and that's going to be that. In addition to that, under that same umbrella is if you have 7 pink lip glosses that are all exactly the same color, get rid of all of them but your favorite. There's no reason to have, unless you're keeping them. Now, I'm a beauty vlogger, you know, so sometimes I'll keep more than one shade for reference, but even that, I'm trying not to keep anything just for reference, because really if I needed to reference it, I can look it up online. There are pictures and videos of every product under the sun online that I don't need to keep it for it to go bad. I'd rather get rid of it while I haven't used it, while it's new, whatever, and give it to a sister, give it to someone I know that will like it, instead of having 10 pink lip glosses in my drawer and I'm only using the one that I really love. So I'm getting rid of the other 9, keeping the one I love. It just feels great. And then when I look at my lip glosses, I only have a few to choose from. I'm just thinking, pink, peach, or, you know, clear, whatever I want. I don't have to think, okay, if I want pink, do I want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one? I mean, it's overwhelming. I can't handle it. So it just feels good. Okay, tip number 4. Just because it was expensive doesn't mean it's worth keeping. There are so many products that I spent a lot of money on, and it was like I kept it for too long so I couldn't return it, or, you know, whatever the scenario is, I still have it. But I maybe used it once or twice. I realized it's not good for my skin tone or my skin type, or I just don't like it. I don't find myself reaching for it. Whatever the reason is, I'm holding on to it because I'm like, well, I spent $30 on this or $40 on this palette. So what? If you're not using it, you're not using it. Why not either sell it online or somewhere, or get rid of it so someone else can love it? Because either way, whether you get rid of it or you keep it, you're not using it either way. So would you miss it? Nope. And like a month later, once it's gone, you won't even remember that you had it. That's kind of my biggest thing. I'm like, I won't even care that I don't have it because I'm never using it anyway. So just get rid of it. And that's hard to do, and I know it is, because for us, I know a lot of you guys that watch, we all put a lot of research into products that we're buying, especially when it is more expensive. So when it doesn't work, it's like, man. But even if it's a cult classic, but you don't like it, just get rid of it. There's no point in keeping it just because everyone else says it's good if you don't like it, you know? Tip number 5, take care of your items. If it is something you love and it's something you're actually keeping, take care of it. For example, my iPad case that I love the most gets dirty really easily. So the other day when I went through them and I was like, I'm gonna keep this one, but it's really dirty. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take the time to I literally got a toothbrush and some cleaner, and I cleaned the iPad case and it looks as good as new. And the reason I stopped using it earlier was because it was kind of dirty. I'm like, why not actually take care of the things I own? That might sound so silly to some of you, but to the other few that maybe you know what I mean, I'm trying to be better about really taking care of my items. If a button pops off of a shirt that I love, sew it back on. You don't have to just get rid of it because you don't want to take the time. Take the time if it's one you love. So I literally have a pile of things I pulled out of my closet that either I need to tighten the button on that I'm scared it's going to pop off, or a button ripped off, I need to sew it back on, etc. I'm going to take the time to do it because they're all clothes that I love, that I don't want to get rid of just because I'm lazy. Okay, tip number 6, if you haven't worn it in a year, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Whether that's makeup, jewelry, clothing items, kitchen utensils, if you haven't used it in a year, get rid of it. Odds are, if within a year's span through all the season you haven't used it, you're probably never going to use it. Unless it's a special occasion, in which case, it's different, maybe having a formal gown and you don't use it. But other than that, if you really needed it in the moment, you can go out and buy it then. But right now, it's just taking up space. There is a trick for that in your closet. You can turn your clothes a certain way on the hanger, like have your hangers turned around, and then as you use them, wash them and rehang them up, turn them around. So that way by the end of the year, or however long you want this to last, you can see if they're still facing that original way, you didn't wear it. That means get rid of it. You can also do that with little post-it note flags on your jewelry items or your makeup or your kitchen, whatever you want to do. Put something on them, and as you use them, take it off. And then at the end of however long of a time span you want to put, then if it still has the post-it note or the rubber band, whatever you use, you'll see that, I am not using this, I should get rid of it. Here are a few shopping tricks when it comes to decluttering, because the problem with decluttering is we have to, if we're going to declutter the stuff that we already have, we have to be smarter about the stuff that we're buying at the store, because that's how it all starts anyway, right? So, one of my biggest tips that it's taken me forever to learn is if you've got a shirt in your hand or whatever it is, and it's kind of a maybe in your mind, just don't get it. You should only be buying things that are 100% things you totally want or need. For the biggest problem I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, is I'll see something on clearance at Target, for example, and I'm like, wow, these jeans are only $8. What a great deal for jeans, which it is a good deal, because really at Goodwill, jeans are still like $6 or $7, which is crazy. Anyway, so I'm like, wow, that's a really good deal on jeans. But then I'll get them because they fit okay, but I'm like, but it's such a good deal, so I'll buy them. I'll wear them once or twice, I won't like the way they fit, and then I'll get rid of them the next year in a garage sale or wherever. I just wasted $8 that I could have taken that and other money that I spent on clearance items that I didn't totally love, and put all of that towards one really nice pair of jeans or one really nice blazer, whatever it is. So you've got to be smarter about what you're buying. If you're just kind of like, then don't get it. Just only buy the things that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm totally in love with this. I know I'll wear it for a long time. Be honest with yourself when it comes to that. Ask yourself this question. Will I wish that I purchased this item a month from now? Will I look back and think, I should have bought that shirt, I should have bought that lip gloss? If you can honestly answer the question and say, I'm really not even going to remember this in a month, then just don't get it. It sounds kind of silly, but it really works. I've caught myself asking myself that, and it really helps. I've put back so many different, especially jewelry items or shirts, that I'm like, I'm not going to be thinking about this plain V-neck tee in a month. Just because it's $4 doesn't mean I need to get it. I have a million plain V-neck tees. I'm wearing, well, it's not plain, but a V-neck tee from Target right now that I love. I don't need a million more. Just because it is a clearance item that's such a crazy deal, a $1 lipstick or a $2 eyeshadow, it doesn't mean you need to have it. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean that you would be stupid to pass it up. frankly, you'd be stupid to buy it if it's not something you need, because it's just going to be another thing that's in your collection that you're probably not going to use. Half of the time there's a reason it's clearance. Now that's not always true. You know, there are certain items that I love that I did get on clearance, but there are a lot of clearance items that I bought because I was like, well, it's $2, I'll just buy it, maybe I'll review it for my channel, or I'll just have it as reference. I either never used it, or I used it once and just never reached for it again. I mean, you know how that goes. So unless it's something you're going to use or you need, just skip it. Even though it's just $1, just skip it. Force yourself to say, I don't need this. Be willing to splurge on the staple items for your closet or makeup bag or whatever. It will always be worth it to spend a little bit more money on something that's going to last longer, that's higher quality, that is something you genuinely will use all the time, than spending it on a bunch of little things that in the end you probably won't keep longer than a year or two. For example, I had a black blazer in my hand recently that was like $45, and I was like, that is a lot for a blazer. I don't want to spend that on anything, let alone a blazer. But then I thought, I'll wear it all the time. It's going to be a staple, and I do wear it all the time. But I had it in my hand, and I also had like 3, maybe even 4 different items that were on sale that were all really, really cute, like 2 cute shirts, a cute skirt, and then like, I don't remember what the other one was. But they were all pretty cheap, and they all added up to that same price. And I was like, well, I could get both. I'm like, no, that's like $80 total. I was like, well, I could get these 4 items for $40, or I can get this for $45. I ended up, I'm so proud of myself, I ended up putting back the sale items and getting the blazer. And I wear that blazer more than I would ever wear any of those 4 items. And while sometimes it really is hard to splurge, and of course you have to be smart with yourself, do you have the money to do that, you know? But I'm so glad that I made that decision, because I thought, wow, that is something that I am just almost proud of buying, because I'm like, it's something I'll wear all the time. Whereas those other things, it's just more little shirts that I have that I'll probably wear a couple times, you know? So it's always worth splurging on items you'll use a lot. That being said, you want to be smart about if it's kind of a fashion fad, like maybe it's a crop top or high-waisted shorts, and you're like, I'll probably wear it in the summer, maybe next, and then probably not again because it'll be out of fashion or whatever, then don't spend a lot of money on it. I'm trying to be smarter about if it's kind of a fad that I'm like, oh, that's fun, I'll wear that this summer, like a crop top or some sort of dress or something. I'll spend a lot less on it and get a cheaper, maybe not as good quality version of it, because I know that I'll probably be getting rid of it in a year or two. Whereas I'll spend more on something that I know it's kind of fad proof, you know? So all of those 10 tips, overall, just be smart and honest with yourself when you're shopping and when you're going through your stuff at home. Basically, just be smart about your purchases, be smart about what you're bringing home, because you don't want to face that same item 6 months later and be asking yourself, should I get rid of this? I just bought it, but I don't wear it. You don't want to even bring items like that home. If you've started decluttering, then be smart from here on out. Be honest with yourself about why you're buying an item. Are you buying it just because it's cheap? Are you buying it because it's a fad but you don't even really like it? Are you buying it because you just want it right in that moment because you're emotional shopping? You know, and that happens to all of us. But be honest with yourself. If you think about those questions and you're like, you know what, I am just emotional shopping. Or you know what, I am just buying it because it's an $8 pair of jeans but I don't really need it / I don't love the way it fits, then put them back. Be honest with yourself also about the stuff that you're hanging on to, and this is the hardest thing. And I've watched that show Hoarders, and most of the time the hardest part is just the getting rid of part, because you form emotional attachments, or you ask yourself, well, what if I need that? Be honest with why you're trying to hold on to it. If you're trying to hold on to it because it's an emotional thing, like someone gave it to you, like a family member, that might be different. That might be worth keeping. But if you're keeping it just because you're like, well, I spent a lot of money on it, but you're not wearing it, get rid of it. You know, all of those tips, just be smart and honest with yourself. I promise you're going to feel so much better after you go through it. I'm looking right here at a box filled with makeup that I'm getting rid of and a trash bag filled with clothes that I'm getting rid of. And then on top of that, you just feel good. I feel like all of my drawers I cleaned out, I can breathe. I got rid of things that I've had for years that I always face. I always face and think, maybe I should get rid of it, and I always keep it. I finally, all those things that I said, maybe I'll get rid of it, but I don't want to, and I kept, I finally got rid of all of them. My closet feels replenished and like revived. It's so cool, and it's not overwhelming anymore to pick out an outfit because I know that everything in my closet I love. There's not a thing in there that I'm like, I'll wear it if it's laundry day, you know what I mean? No, I got rid of them all because I never faced that day where I ran out of things to wear, you know? So I really hope this was helpful. I know I was super wordy, and I'll have this list of rules down below as well if you want to keep them and print them out and use them when you're decluttering, because I'm telling you, there's so many inspiring videos here on YouTube that have helped me kind of develop my mantra when it comes to decluttering and being smart about shopping. But I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye.